Hello there. Welcome back to Grade 11 Business Studies. In this video, we're going to look at the question paper of November 2023, and we are going to look at paper 2. So we're going to look at question 2 on that question paper. So going to our 2 on section B. So our the first question that we want to look at is 2.2, which reads outline strategies and that businesses can use to ensure that they remain profitable and are sustainable. So basically, the strategies that are can be employed that we as a business we can ensure that we remain profitable and listed and sustainable. Profitability, we know that it's the excess of our revenue over our expenses, so that we are always having an excess of revenue over expenses. That is the profitability part. There is sustainability. We are focusing on meeting the needs of the present without compromising, obviously, the ability of future generations. That's the stance that we have in terms of sustainability, so that the business becomes sustainable in the future to come. So basically, that's what we have on those explanations. But our question is to ensure that they remain profitable. So in those strategies, we can bring issues like thorough planning. It's also one of the strategies. Proper planning in the business also can ensure that we remain profitable and sustainable. Planning of activities so that we do activities that are proper, that are well planned. And then also proper managing of finance also. We should properly manage our finance so that we don't overspend on items that are not necessary or expenses that are not necessary. And also effective management, obviously, it could be effective management of scarce resources. And also we make sure that we maintain the attraction and retention of our customers. So, because our customers, that's where we are going to get our revenue. So, exactly, those are typical strategies are the ones that we can include on 2.2. So, going to our answer section, you'll see that these are the strategies that we have. The first one is saying thorough planning. Thorough planning every time you decision and deploy it. Then sound in spending. The next one, effective management of scarce resources such as money, equipment, and personnel. Next, effective managing employees through team building, a good interpersonal relation, and sound conflict resolution, and retaining our customers. And then we've got behaving ethically and socially responsible, where product prices are. It's just behaving in a good way. Behaving in a good way. So remember, being ethical is to be able to differentiate between what is good and what is wrong. So exactly as this is what we have at this point. Then the next one is monitoring the external and internal, and then we can look for any other relevant variable. So any other relevant answer also can be correct. So going back to our question, we see that our question is asking is got we have got no number of points list outlined there, but it is at least 2 points, so that you get all the marks. So on the second part of the question, 2.3, it reads read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. We've got a scenario of Muzi Properties, in brackets MP. Muzi Properties is a real estate business. MP buys farms and allows the user to utilize the property with regular payment according to their contract. Recently, MP also bought an existing butcher. So this is the scenario that you're given. Then the first question that we are having after the scenario is 2.3.1 is reading, identify the business avenue applied by MP. We go back to the scenario, we see that there is an issue of a real estate business, and MP is being said buys farms and allows the user to utilize the property with regular payment. So it allows the user to utilize the property with regular payments. So obviously, there is listing as what the question is asking. The question is asking for the business avenue. Obviously, it's a listing. So we go to our answer section. We see that we put listing as our response. Okay, see on that question is saying second part saying motivate your answer by quoting from the scenario. So this is the part that we are motivating from, where it's saying it utilize the property to utilize the property with the regular payment according to the contract. So basically that's the motivation. So if you come here on the part of the user to utilize the property with regular payment according to their contract. So basically is that. So we go to the next part. We just say explain the reason why entrepreneurs may decide to purchase an existing business. So what are the advantages of purchasing an existing business? But remember, an existing business is a business that is in there in that industry. In that industry, obviously, it has an advantage that it has also existing customers that are there. So if you purchase it, you are going to enjoy the customers that are there. No much costs are going to be incurred in terms of marketing, because we have already customers that already know about the business. So those are some of the advantages that we can also um, we can also utilize by buying an existing business. And also we've got suppliers that have been supplying, be it raw materials or inputs that are being used in that business. So obviously, it's there. We just have to maintain those suppliers so as we go forward. So this is those are some of the advantages that we can include there. So we go to other section to see what are the reasons what advantages that we have from buying an existing business. So we come here, you see that we have them listed here. The first one is saying easier to raise finance if the business is a good history or image. So the image that has been set by the previous business, if it's a good image, it's an advantage to us as one immediate cash flow, as they are already established done, and there is an established customer base. So exactly as we're explaining, distribution and supply links are already established. This is our issue of distribution after if we are producing after producing, there are already distribution networks or links that are already there. So there's no need for us to establish new ones. So this is an advantage. The next one, a market for business products or services already been established, which is also correct. Existing employees and managers, we have experience they can share. So there are existing employees and managers that are there in that business. Obviously, they're going to continue as there is going to be no ownership. So that's an advantage again because they have experience and they know how to operate that business. So that is an advantage again. Then our next one, methods of solving business problems have already been established. So problems that have been encountered before have already been solved. So methods of dealing with those problems are already there. So it also becomes a benefit. So those are the answers that we have going to 2.4. Discuss the procedure for the formation of companies and we'll try to this. The first one is saying determine the minimum number of people establishing a company. Determine the minimum number of people establishing a company. What are the minimum numbers that are needed to establish that company? Reservation, a company name with the register of companies. So you have to reserve a company name with the register. This is a reservation or registration of a company name with the register of companies. That is the CIPC, which is the COR 9.4 with fee payment. So this is also a procedure that we need to do in terms of registration that has to be done with the registrar of companies, which is the second procedure. So basically, this is just registration. Number 3, prepare memorandum of incorporation of shareholders. A nature of company memorandum of incorporation is also a document that is supposed to be there when a company is starting to operate. So it also indicates the registration of that company. So we have a memorandum of incorporation is also part of the procedure. So we have this one. The next one, we have file a notice of incorporation to commence a business or trade to raise finance. File a notice of incorporation to commence a business or trade to raise finance. So this also becomes another procedure which needs to be undertaken. Then you go to service. So the essence behind is just to register for tax with the South African Revenue Employment Insurance Fund, that is UIF, with the Department of Labor. Then obviously this is in relation to the workers. And then you go to register with the Commissioner for Compensation for Occupational Injuries and Disease Act, that is COIDA, for protection of injuries at work. And then lastly, we could draw up a prospectus. So basically, these are the steps that are there according to the question number. So obviously, we have 6 points. So over 6 marks. So it means 6 points are also required there. At least 6 points. Then we'll go to the next part, which is now our 2.5. So going to 2.5, 2.5, read the scenario below and answer the question that follows. We are given Rand Daily Farm, which is RDF. It reads Rand Daily Farm will be doing the following activities when setting up their business during December. Zala will purchase the milking cows in the first week. During the second and third week, Kenny will be setting up the milking machine. So the question is, draw up a Gantt chart using the information given in the scenario, using the table below as a guide to answer the question 2.5.1. So we have a table that we are given here that is to be filled in the answer book. So obviously, a Gantt chart, we know that a Gantt chart is a project management tool assisting in the planning and the scheduling of projects of all sizes. So basically, it is all centered on the issue of our planning and scheduling. So if you go to our information that we are given, we are told that we've got Buzala will purchase the milking cows on the first, and that's where we have our key first week. on the first week, and then during the second and the third week, Kenya will be setting up the milking machines. So basically, that's where we are going to construct it around that information. So we've got a column for activities, weeks, and then the person responsible. Obviously, the issue of milking is for Mzala. So basically, we're going to say milking on activities, and then the person responsible is going to be Mzala. And it's only the first week, so it means we're going to share for the first week for Mzala. That is our person responsible will be Mzala. And then we also have for Kenny, during the second and third week, Kenny will be setting. So here we'll be having Kenny on the second column. And then Kenny, we are told that it's for the second and third week. So it's going to be for the second and third week. And it's for, we check there, it's we purchase the milking cows in the first, and during the second week, we'll be setting up at the second week will be setting up at the milking machines. That will be in the second and third week. So here activities obviously is about setting up at the milking machine, and then the first week is only for purchasing the milking cows. So this is what we have. So basically, so in terms of allocation of weeks, I think it's now clear in terms of Zala, we've got on the first week, and then the second and third week, we've got Kenny, and then of course, the person responsible, we've got Zala and Kenny. And then in terms of activities, we know that for Zala, we purchase the milking cows, and then for Kenny, we set up the milking machines. So basically, as simple as that. So you go to our answer section, you just try to see in terms of the allocation, we've got for week one, it's purchasing milking cows, which is here. And it's from Zara, correct as that. And then we have got the second column, we're saying setting up milking machines, and it's for the second week 2 and week 3, and it's for Ken. So basically, this is how the Gantt chart will look like. So basically, this is what we have in terms of our 2.5.1, and then we go to the next part of the question, which is going to be 2.6. Discuss any two factors that influence the choice of funding. Two factors that influence the choice of funding. But obviously, we know that the choice of funding obviously will depend on the type of business. Will also depend on the type of business. Will also depend on the cost of that funding. Those are some of the factors that we have to take into consideration. So we go to other sections that the first factor that we have is the nature of finance. And we are given some sources of finance like shares and debentures are not available to certain forms of ownership. So if you are a sole trader, you cannot access shares and debentures because you cannot use shares and debentures as sources of finance because in a sole trader, they don't issue shares. In a partnership, they don't issue shares. So if shares are only issued in a company, so it only applies within the context of a company. So this becomes the applicable explanation that we have in terms of nature of finance. And then so basically we are saying some finance sources or some sources of funding only applies to certain type of businesses. So we've got shares and debentures only apply to companies. So this is the explanation that we have in here. And then second point is saying shares and debentures can only be issued by companies, which have got amount of capital needed, which is on the first part, we have large amount of capital needed, the fewer options will be available. So if you need more capital, the source of finance obviously will be limited on the options that you can acquire those funds. So next point is saying large amounts must be obtained from banks use own funds. So if you need large amounts, you can only obtain them from banks, and you can also raise them on your own as equity financing in the form of maybe issue of shares. So this is the tool that we have. Then the other factor is risk. Difficult for new business to obtain funding or extra funding that an existing business already has a good credit record. So for a new business, it's difficult to get funding because it's risky. But for a business that has been operating some time, its credit record will be there, so it's easier for the business to acquire funding. So this is the third one. Then you can also look at cost of finance. Remember, the question is looking for 3 points, which is that the cost of funding is normally measured in the interest that must be paid for the funding. Business must weigh all the options before choosing the most affordable option of funding. So these are some of the points that we should include. So this is what we have. So we try to see in terms of the last part of the question. Right, moving on to this last part of our question, which is around 2.7, which reads suggests how the presenter must prepare the following visual aids. The first part, which is 2.7.1, which is on slides, is got 4 marks. And then we've got second part, which is handouts with 4 marks. So these are just a presentation visual aids that simplify the process of presentation. So we've got some softwares that are used there in form of slides. So a slide basically it's a single page of presentation created with a software such as PowerPoint. So mainly this slide, we see it being a projection that comes out of a software that is called PowerPoint. And also we have handout that is just basically this just a hard copy in the form of a piece of a printed information. So our question is asking us is saying suggests how the presenter must prepare. So the preparation process in terms of slides and handouts is what's being asked. Our question is got 4 marks. Obviously, at least 4 points should be raised on these sections. So let's go to our answer section to see what we have. On the first part, we've got various points that are listed there, but you can just pick 4 that are simple and so on the first point we of slides, we've got start with the text which forms the basis of presentation. So obviously, on the slides, on the presentation, we have to some text there that form the basis of the presentation. Then on the second part, we have got select the background to complement or enhance the text. So obviously, according to the information that you are texting there, you can just select a background that is applicable for that. And then next one, we choose images that may help to communicate the message. And then we have got include or create graphics to assist the information which is conveyed. So basically, we have information that can be graphically presented. Obviously, you need to put your graphs, be it your pie charts, your picture, whatever form of graph that you might want to also include there. The next one, add special effects, sound, pictures, animation to make it interesting for the audience. So basically, you are just trying to make it attractive according to the aid of the presentation that you are just putting there in the form of pictures or animation. Then next one, we have to create hyperlinks to allow quick access to other files or documents or video clips. And then we've got use legible fonts and font size so that it is easy to see or read. Keep slides, images, graphs, font simple, but not mixing with different styles or colors. So these are some of the points that you can include. Remember, our question only requires 4, so you can just pick 4 that are simple for you to recognize them. So we go to the last part, which is on handouts. So these are the points that we have on handouts. The first one is saying structure information in logical sequence. Use a legible font size and font size, and then choose images that may help to communicate the message. Make sure there are no grammatical or spelling errors. So obviously, these are just basic applications that we know from our everyday texting. That we have to make sure that your grammar is correct, your spelling is correct, and then we've got to use bright color to increase visibility. So these are some of the maybe the guidelines that we have to incorporate when you are preparing with this handout. So this becomes the last part of our video. Thank you for listening. Let's subscribe and share. Let's meet again in the next video.